Okay, so if you are in a situation where you are fearful about a certain situation that you place in the hands of God and you are worried about the worst case, I want to encourage you. So, the first thing that I want to start off with is a pretty honest statement. I believe the worst advice that has been given to me by fellow believers were always the one telling me, God will never allow that to happen, the worst case will not happen, He will prevent it. I have seen many worst cases happening in my life, but every single time a worst case happened, it turned out in one of the biggest blessings of my entire life. So the fear that we have is not something that God will necessarily, I would say, avoid or prevent. I experience that God will oftentimes test out the fear out of us. And this is literally the fastest way to true freedom. Because specifically when you're starting to walk with the Lord and He's preparing you for your bigger calling, He needs to make sure that you only have one master. And let's be so for real. If you are carrying around fear that you can't let go of, the fear becomes a master. So, and fear is a very, very bad master. Fear will control you, and every single time God is giving you a new assignment, you will always see things through the lens of fear. So, which will make it very difficult for God to lead you into what He has for you. So, He will always make sure before you walk into the assignment that is for you, that you let go of all these other things that are trying to control you that are not from Him. Specifically, when we think about the general, I would say, currency of heaven, the currency of heaven is trust, and the currency of hell is fear. So every single time you ask God for something big, and I assume that you have asked God for something big or that you have been praying for something big, He will lead you into a season where you need to bring more trust to the table, where you need to literally walk in poor faith, no matter how difficult the circumstances might be looking like, so that you trust Him even if the worst case situation actually happens, that it will be for your good and that God has a bigger plan. So every single time you're in front of something big, God might test the fear out of you. He might test the fear of your financial situation. We are sometimes so scared if God will provide and how He will provide, or I don't know about our personal situations, whatever it might be. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like there might be this one thing that you are worried about. And maybe even in your case, He will let this worst case happening so that you can let go of that fear. In my case, at least, He led me through situations where I over and over again experienced the worst case in a similar area of my life. And the reason for that was so that I could finally trust Him on a deeper level, because I could put all my trust in Him that even though everything looked pretty messy, that everything will work out for my good, like the Bible says it. Everyone that loves the Lord, He will make sure that everything literally works out for their good. Then the second thing also, oftentimes when worst case situations appear, we start feeling resentment towards God. And this is the worst place that you want to be in. Like the Bible talks always about how we need to move in total forgiveness. And this does not just apply for our fellow brothers and sisters. This does also applies for God. Even though God does not anything wrong, like there's actually not even a reason to be mad at God, but still there is the possibility to carry around resentment and unforgiveness towards God. And sometimes if there's a specific situation that grieved you, that filled you with resentment, He might lead you again through it, even though it's painful, so that you can let go of that unforgiveness. Because look how the Bible talks about how we are meant to forgive all the other people in an unlimited way, that there is not a certain number we should forgive our fellow brothers and sisters. And I believe this is the same thing that applies to God. And when we do so, like when we forgive God and when we move with an attitude of full trust, even though a lot of things might not look like how we expected them, then we enter into a new level of freedom, because this is literally us saying, God, I trust you on the deepest way possible. I trust you even if the worst case is happening and a lot of things do not make sense for me. I still keep walking with you and I still keep trusting you. So at the end of the day, there might be a situation where he allows you to walk through the worst case, and maybe you're already in this worst case situation. But one thing that I want you to do is to, first of all, let God off the hook. He has done nothing wrong, and oftentimes his ways are not even for us to be comprehended. Like, we can't understand his ways, and we just gotta trust that whatever he does, it will turn out in a full blessing, and he's doing it for our good. So therefore, do not be afraid. Do not lose hope. Oftentimes, the worst case is the best case that you could ever pray for. So with that being said, that's pretty it for this video. I hope I could encourage you a little bit. Because I know so many people don't like to talk about this topic, but someone has to say it. So sometimes God lets the worst case purposely to happen so that you can walk in greater freedom.